What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader. So today I'm going to show you how to install and how to use worldpainter for Minecraft. Now I've already tried to install this yesterday, but unfortunately I lost the data for the recording, but basically I'm going to try it again. So the link will be in the description for this if you want to download it. It's just from worldpainter.net, and you're going to have to download either the 64 or 32-bit version depending on what your machine supports, and obviously there's also support for Mac and for Linux as well. So I'm going to download the 64-bit version. I already have it installed, but I'm just going to give you a little demonstration on how to install it and how to set it up. And basically what worldpainter is it's a map editor for Minecraft that uses a set of brushes and tools that are very similar to software like Microsoft Paint and Adobe Photoshop, but you use these brushes and tools to actually sculpt and create maps using blocks in Minecraft. So I'm going to click yes, update the existing installation, because I have already installed this, but just go through all the steps. It's pretty straightforward, but basically you can sculpt and mold terrain, and you can modify maps, you can paint materials and blocks onto the world, you can put trees, snow and ice, and paint different biomes and a whole lot more different things, and basically just paint landscapes using all of these different tools. So if you're familiar with a lot of image editing software, it works basically the same as those, but you're painting a map, which is why it's called worldpainter. So I'm going to click run worldpainter right here, and we're going to launch it straight up, and I'm just going to be explaining how all of the tools work. So this is just going to be a really straightforward basic tutorial. There's not going to be any complicated things in this. Maybe I'll make more videos if you want to know how to make caverns and rooftops of caves and really unique stuff like that. If you do have an interest in other parts or other tutorials, make sure to like the video and let me know in the comments that you want to see more worldpainter stuff, and I will try and do it. So now we're in the software. Now the first time you load the software, it will actually have these yellow speech bubbles which basically point to all of the basics of the software and what to do. So on the left hand side you can select a tool. First of all, we have a few different tools, okay? So first of all we have the spray paint tool, we have the pencil which draws more thick and accurate lines of whatever you're using, and the spray can is just like the Microsoft Paint spray can in the classic Paint. It just dots things around, but it's not smooth, it just dots things around. Then you have a fill bucket which completely fills an area, so if you have a location like one of these grooves, it will automatically fill in one of these grooves. I will show you a demonstration of the majority of these tools soon. Then we have the text tool, which is interesting, and it draws text using any layer or terrain at different sizes, and you can use different fonts and angles. And then there's the flood tool, which is in two different types. So the first one, you can flood an area with water, and then you can flood an area with lava. Then the sponge dries up all of the lava and water lakes just like it would in games, so that's how you can get rid of those. So for an example, if I use the sponge here, it will dry up all these water pools if I just hold left click and drag over it, and it will only dry it up within the brush angle, so I can obviously get rid of some of the water but leave some of it there as well. So that's pretty interesting. Then the height to raise or lower terrain, this modifies all the terrain systems. I'm just going to show you a demonstration, okay? So first of all, I'm going to select the spray can, and if you scroll up and down with your mouse, it will actually make the brush size bigger or smaller. And then on the right side we can actually select different brushes. So we have different brushes here. I'm just going to select this brush, which is the plateau circle, but you can also select the constant circle, and some of them will have higher and lower opacities and be stronger brushes. This performs the same as Photoshop. You can actually get custom brushes for this software too, which I haven't personally installed, but if you've watched other worldpainter videos, some people might have a lot more brushes than this, and that's why. You can always do a quick Google search and get custom brushes for worldpainter. It's pretty straightforward. Then we have the brush settings here, so we can change the rotation, the intensity, which is basically the hardness of what you're painting, and a few different properties here. And the info pane will show, when we move around our mouse, a few different properties and information. So if we hover over the sand here, it will show that it's a beach biome, and then this is a plains biome, so it will show all the data about the world, for example. So now we have a brush selected, and we can make it bigger or smaller. Then we have the spray can as the actual tool to use with a brush, and then we can select down here the different things that we want to paint. So if we select terrain here and click this text box, we can mess around with different things, and then we can click on the terrain tab and select a block that we want to paint. So I could select sand and then I could paint sand around, and this is what the tool looks like. The spray can will not be 100% full. Obviously the edges are not smooth and it's kind of weird how it paints, but that's how the paint can works. Then the pencil, I'm just going to change the block each time just to show you the difference. The pencil is going to be more exact. You'll see there's no spacing and it's basically a constant brush. So this is what the pencil is like. We can paint some lava pools around there, so it's kind of like a lake down the middle. Then the fill tool basically will fill an entire area. So you can press Ctrl and Z to undo, and the fill tool will fill in a certain area, so we can go around and click in these different pools and it will fill those pools with this block that we've selected, which is the flowing lava. We can do this for magma too, fill in pools of magma, and there's a lot that we can actually do with this tool. We could fill in different ice lakes as well up here with ice blocks, and the fill tool is just really useful for creating really quick pools and lakes. Then we have the text tool up here, which we can also mess around with. And if we click here, it will say enter text, and I could just type in test and press OK, and it will actually make text out of the selected block. So this will actually be text out of flowing water in the game. So the text will probably not actually be text because the water will flow all around. But you can obviously do that with a different block too, and it'll be static. Then the flood tool, like we said before, this is kind of better than the fill tool, but what it'll do is it'll basically flood the whole map though, and we can do that with water or lava, and you'll see that depending on the area we select, it will flood some areas and leave some areas unflooded. So that's also another quick way to make liquids really quickly with this software. Then we have the raise and lower tools. If we drag this all around, we can kind of make mountains and sculpt things, which is really awesome. And we can flatten areas like this, and you'll see that the terrain is shifting, all of these lines is shifting. Then we can smooth the areas, so anything that's elevated, this will obviously smooth it if we already have mountains. We can use raise mountain, which will raise mountains all around. It doesn't matter what block you select when you're raising the mountain, because you're literally just sculpting terrain right here. It's pretty simple. Obviously I'm just testing things, it's not going to look great at all, I'm just showing you how everything works. And then the spawn point we can change. So this little red cross here, if we hold Control and scroll up on the mouse and scroll down, it will actually scroll in and out of our map, okay? And this spawn point here is this little red cross. If we click the spawn tool on the top left, we can actually change the spawn point and click anywhere on the map. So we could spawn next to this pile of sand which we actually painted. Then global operations is just a set of tools that we can do things quicker with. So we could fill the whole terrain with a specific biome, so we could fill it with mesa, which just makes it look so much better, because what we can do is, like I said before, we can fill it with a biome type. So we can fill it with mesa, we could fill it with beaches, snow on rock. These are one or two different types of blocks, so it would look better than if we just painted something. So this is a really nice little tool. We could go on nether-like and it'll paint nether with lava and netherrack. That's a really nice tool. Then these rotated pyramids, if we scroll in, you'll see that it's actually creating these small little clusters of pyramids that we can raise. And you'll see it's making little triangles, which are kind of just like pyramid blocks. And then we can edit selections by clicking this tool. You can copy selections, and a lot more. So there's a lot of things that we can do. We could also click on frost instead of terrain, so we could paint a lot of frost over the world. We could paint the beta caves, so we could basically paint caves all over the map. We can paint caverns. There's a whole lot of different tools around here. We can paint deciduous trees, pine trees, swamps. Basically you're just painting jungles and biomes and things. Resources. And if you click on biomes here, we can actually select which biomes to paint. So you could click on the end biome, and you could literally paint end and select the specific type of end biome that you're painting. And there's so many different tools we can use in here. So this is mainly just the basics, and then up here you have a few different things, so you can enable and disable certain different options. And also at the top, if you click file, you can save the world. You can merge the world that you've made with a current Minecraft map, or you can also create a new world. So I'm going to show you how to create a new world before the end of the video, because we've just been playing around with the canvas so far. So if you click file and then new world, and I'm just going to click not to save changes, and we can just call this worldpainter for an example. And Minecraft 1.12 is basically one of the best modded versions that's most widely supported, so there won't really be any problems with that. So you could easily generate a Minecraft 1.12 world. It also supports 1.14.4 or later. Obviously later versions of Minecraft can easily convert the worlds and they should be functional anyway, so I prefer to select 1.12, but obviously you can select an older version or a newer version depending on what you're using. But 1.12 and 1.14 will still work with 1.15 and any later versions of Minecraft you're running. These use the Anvil world generator type, and obviously the old Minecraft 1.1 has the MC region world generation technique. You can select dimensions which have to be multiples of 128, otherwise it won't work. So if I type in 978 for an example, it will just reset to the closest multiple of 128. So it could be 128, 256, or just keep doubling it so it's a multiple of 128, and we can make a world. So you can change it to a circular world, you can change the height, we can change so many different things. We can change it to a full flat world, which will basically perform like if we just generated a normal full flat world in Minecraft, and we can make it hilly and change the hill heights. We can change the water level, and it shows you the default water level, and it also shows you a preview. Okay, so the water level right now, there's a few different pools. The higher the water level is, the more pools and lakes there will be, and the further you turn it up, the bigger these lakes will be until there's just complete oceans and bigger lakes and streams. And then if you put it really high, instead of there being a lot of land, you'll basically have the top areas of the land just as islands, and the water will be super high. So that's what I find really cool. You can make this into kind of like a survival island system. So I'm going to put the water level higher by 10 blocks, and you can change it to lava as well, so you can have lava with survival islands in the middle and make it more dangerous. You can tick beaches on or off, so if you want your islands or your land to generate beaches. And the surface material we can even change, so instead of grass we could have dirt islands, or we could have terracotta islands. And you can even go on advanced and configure the blocks you want for the terrain yourself. So we could select cobblestone, mesa, and water for an example, and press OK, and it will generate those blocks instead. You can also click the seed you want. You can press ocean or land, which will change the generation, and if you click this third little tick box here, you can type in the specific seed you want. And if you click a random seed, you can see in the preview what the map will look like with this random seed. So that's really cool as well if you have a specific seed, and then you can just create your world and it will be as big as you set it in, and we can scroll in and out with control and scroll. So that's how to use worldpainter. This is just the basics, showing you how to use the brushes, what each tool does and all the properties, how to save and how to create a new map. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video and drop a comment below, and if you want to see more tutorials on how to use worldpainter and how to do more complicated and specific stuff, then make sure to subscribe and tell me in the comments below if you want to see some more worldpainter videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.